with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy, so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1003769, $395 per month lease for 36 months with approved credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to assigning, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See for details.
Imagine a world where your office IT runs smoothly, securely, and effortlessly. A day where you aren't worried about the next outage or password compromise. At Hamilton, we take care of everything from monitoring and maintenance to security and support. We partner with your business to design integrated technology solutions that fit your needs now and your goals for the future. With on-site and remote IT support options, we're always just a call or click away. Elevate your IT with Hamilton Managed IT. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome, everybody, into the Adam Carriker Show, the show that gives you unique insights, unbridled honesty, and producer Jake and I, when he's not taking one of his world-famous naps, have a whole lot of fun together. Isn't that right, Jake?
Yeah, that's right. I'm thinking about a nap soon, but they're waking me up with this.
It's usually when I go into one of my long diatribes, I look over and he's like looking like, Grandpa does after Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner on the couch, just sitting there enjoying life, not a care in the world, not giving a crap what I have to say. Isn't that right, Jake?
Something like that.
He said something like that. So he's going to admit to it a little bit, just not a whole lot of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today, you guessed it, it's a loaded show. All right, the volleyball, easy for me to say, volleyball honors. Talk a little Nebraska volleyball to start right off the top for a couple of minutes before we dive into a whole lot of other topics as well. Defensive coordinator updates, 3 names. Okay, I keep hearing 3 names. Now, does that mean it's definitively down to these 3? No, it does not. Does that mean, it's not less than 3? No. More than 3? No. Nothing's definitive, but I can't help but notice a common denominator. These 3 names are what I keep hearing. That's what I can say for sure. Is there seems to be 3 names that I keep hearing. It doesn't mean there's not more or less, all right? Nothing is that definitive at this point, at least not on my end. All right. Dylan Raiola put the rumors to rest. I have not said a word, despite hearing things a couple of weeks ago. All right. It's always weird to talk about guys maybe leaving when they're here to begin with. So that's always a little bit awkward to begin with. But I'll give my thoughts on that and him putting those rumors to rest. Transfer portal, guys. Who's in the transfer portal that we are directly hosting and or talking to? Who has entered the transfer portal that has become very enticing to go after? And there's a couple of names right there. All right, a kid out of Missouri. They literally changed laws. All right, and I'll get into that in a little bit. I'm not a lawmaker expert here, but I literally changed some laws in order to work some things out with him to go to Missouri. Now, a year later, he's in the transfer portal. He's an incredibly talented edge rusher, I might add. All right, and who do we have that's coming back that I think are, like, there's if you're going to build a team or a program, I'll never forget when I interviewed Zach Taylor about 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, they were getting ready to play in the Super Bowl. They were literally the worst team in the NFL, had the number one pick in the draft when he was a coach. The first year as a coach, and then they went to the Super Bowl. They've been to a couple of AFC championship games, and I go, how'd you do it? He said, core players. Core players. He said, there's going to be people that come and go, but you have to figure out who your core players are, and you build around them. Who are Nebraska's core players? There's actually 9. I wrote 8 on my paper. I thought of one on the drive-in, and if I miss anybody, after I go through these 9 players, Jake, let me know. Text line, let me know. I've actually got a question. Tom Shatel is going to join me at 12:30. All right, I'm excited for that interview. I've never actually interviewed Tom before, so that's going to be exciting. And then to end the show, I'm going to fix the college football playoff. I mean, I'm just going to do it. You know, you're welcome. I'm just going to do it. I should be the college football commissioner. I'm just saying they should have somebody in charge of college football who cares about more than just one conference or one team or just purely maximizing profit and crapping all over everything else about the sport. There are things about this sport that are flat out unacceptable. Can't address them all in a 15-minute segment at the end of the show, but I can address how within the 12-team format as it currently is, which I would not have in a 12-team format, but again, I've only got about 10 to 15 minutes at the end of the show. How would I alter? There's 5 simple things. In my opinion, very simple. It's as obvious as Emmett Johnson's our best running back. Heinrich Haarberg should be used in certain situations. Have Ja'Cory Barney as a returner. Like things that are that obvious, not that complicated to fix. This 12-team college football playoff. All right, let's start right off the top. It's a loaded show, ladies and gentlemen, as always. Oh, I almost forgot. All right, our new daily giveaway, ladies and gentlemen, be the 5th caller, and you will win a prize, $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions, 2040 Southwest 5th Street. To be the 5th caller, we will patch you through. I will make up a random trivia question on the spot. It does not matter if you get it right or wrong. It's purely just for fun. But if you're the 5th caller, you will win a $100 gift certificate to Automotive Solutions on 2040 Southwest Street. You can pick it up, your prize, if you are the said 5th caller, here at 93.7 The Ticket. You have 180 days with which to get it and use it. The Ticket Studios are at 11th. And so be caller number 5. What's that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Dude, you were not napping. You were right. That was perfect timing, dude. I love it. All right. Let's start off. You snuck a nap before I got in here, didn't you? That's all right. Don't tell Vershawn. He won't like that. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Merritt Beeson, Andy Jackson, Harper Murray, Bergen Riley, and Lexi Rodriguez were all named to the AVCA West All-Region team. This is quite the honor, ladies and gentlemen. Rodriguez has earned her 4th AVCA All-Region honor and will now look to join Katie Rolfskin, who played 2013 to 2016, and Sarah Paven, 04 to 07. Very nice. Sarah Paven's one of the nicest people I've ever met. As the only 4-time All-Americans in Nebraska program history. All right, Lexi, a 4-year starter, 3-year captain, has climbed to the number 2 ranking in school history in career digs with 1,843 digs. She has chased in Justine Wong Oriente's school record of 1,890. She got a good chance of getting it. You look at some of the names on this list. Andy Jackson, all right, really has played well as a sophomore this year, stepped up her level of play. You saw that year 2 jump for her. In her final 2 matches of the regular season, Jackson tied her career high with 8 blocks in each match. That's being a force in the middle, ladies and gentlemen. Harper Murray, outside hitter. All right, Murray leads the Huskers in kills with 3.29% and adds 2.3 digs per set and 32 aces, the most on the team this year. Bergen Riley, all right, sophomore setter from Sioux Falls. Riley is the only player, I'm going to speak slowly, the only player in Big Ten history to win Big Ten Setter of the Year in both her freshman and sophomore seasons. She was also on the All Big Ten first team in 2023 as well. Shout out to Husker volleyball. Now, Nebraska is a volleyball state. Creighton, Nebraska volleyball, both in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA tournament. All right, I should mention this. We'll see if it happens or not. But I have actually reached out to Creighton coach Kirsten Booth. I just interviewed Jordan Larson. Look for that in the near future. Phenomenal interview, by the way. Phenomenal interview with Jordan Larson. But I've also reached out to Creighton coach Kirsten Booth to hopefully interview her as well. All right. So Nebraska is a volleyball state. We'll see what happens with that interview. Watch out for the Jordan Larson interview when that does drop. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, I got a question for the text line. They can respond to anything that I'm saying. But I've seen other folks post on X some polls. Not to go completely off topic here, but are you rooting for Scott Frost to be successful at UCF? And I think at least the people in their reactions, when they talk about the responses to their poll that they put out, they seem surprised that there seemed to be a higher amount of people rooting for Scott Frost than they otherwise would have thought. So here's what I want to know on the text line. What's that number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
That was a little slower. Get a little nap in there? No, I'm just kidding. Jake does a great job. Text into that number. Are you rooting for Scott Frost to be successful at UCF? I'm just curious. All right. So the three names that seem to be a reoccurring theme that I keep hearing. Not that there's not more. Maybe one of these has been eliminated, but what I can speak on is the common denominator names that I keep hearing. All right. Of course, John Butler. All right. We all know about John. He's going to be the interim DC through the bowl game here at Nebraska. There's a thought of, well, if he was going to be the guy, why hasn't he already been named the guy? Because there's other guys with legit interest that Matt Rule wants to look at. Matt Rule said that at the press conference. It's not breaking news. It's also of the mindset of, why is it taking so long? Matt Rule said he's not going to rush. He wants to make the correct hire, more so than a speedy hire. Now, I did think this was interesting. And I don't think this was posted by accident by John Butler on X, whenever it was. I don't know, past few days, last week or so. Work with the best, to be the best. All right, talking about, especially in the secondary, years of developing elite defensive backs. And he talks about two-time first team all-pro type players, 3 first-round picks, $300 million combined career earnings in the NFL of guys he's coached. I'm having a hard time reading this. The graphic is not very clear. But he's coached guys like Jonathan Joseph, Kareem Jackson, Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Taron Johnson. I had a good portion of them at the Bills, also the Texans and the Ravens as well. I felt like, and this is just me speculating, it's like, hey, yes, our secondary struggled this year. And yes, it was the weakness of the defense, and it was inconsistent. And it was the one area of the entire team that did not seem to improve at all. Like, I saw the O-line get better at times. I saw the blocking outside get better at times. The running back hit holes better at times. I saw the quarterback be more decisive at the end of the year. I saw the front seven do good against the run. Even special teams did better at things throughout the year. We made 8 straight field goals at one point. Now, the secondary is the one thing I looked at and I was like, I don't see it getting better. Now, it wasn't atrocious to begin with. It was just, of the 3 units on defense, first level, second level, third level, the D-line the first level, the linebackers the second level, and then were much more consistent in their play. I didn't see that out of the secondary, so that's the big concern with people. Also, if you look at his resume, it's phenomenal. I mean, it is absolutely phenomenal. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I think with John Butler, this is going to sound weird. I think it's with a guy that has this much experience in the NFL, coaching major college football. I mean, if you didn't know, he was Bill O'Brien, who was Boston College's head coach. Right? Maybe it's part of why he's the interim DC through the bowl game. Boston College's head coach, the team we're going to play in the Pinstripe Bowl. He was his defensive coordinator in 2012 at Penn State. So maybe there's a little bit of cross knowledge there. And that's so long ago. Who knows how much has changed from Bill O'Brien's perspective and how he calls plays and whatnot. But there's got to be some consistency from back then. So, but to me, it's almost the lowest floor, highest ceiling, because I look at what the secondary did and I'm like, why did we not get better at some point? Okay, but the highest ceiling, because you look at his resume and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. This guy's going to be a D coordinator somewhere. And that's kind of how I look at that. And I've heard people say, well, he just got here before, in the summer, right before camp. Fair point. He's trying to learn players' names. So is Dana Holgerson. He literally didn't say anybody's name at a press conference. I think the 2 that he had, it was just 21 and this number and that number. He knew numbers. Okay. Well, he didn't have that long with them, and he's trying to learn the scheme and this and that. Hey, that all makes sense. I think my response, immediate thought anyways, was Holgerson was here during the bye week. He was not the OC. And I was at practice that week. He was not the OC. Trust me. The bye week, the Sunday night after the bye week, going into USC, he's named the OC. So he's got 1 week as the OC versus USC. 1 week, week 2, going into Wisconsin, bam, all of a sudden we look a lot better. Now, that is not typical. That is not normal. It was there the whole freaking time. Okay? It's not like he created magic. Just common sense was applied. Differences were made. They weren't gigantic, but some of the improvements were. My point is, when you compare that to what Dana did, which is a bit of an anomaly, okay, the potential to play better in the secondary was there. It was there the whole time. I'm not saying he'd be a bad hire. If this guy ends up being our defensive coordinator, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to talk about his freaking resume and everything he's done and why the ceiling is high with this guy. Okay? All right. Another name that you've heard quite a bit, Jim Leonhard. I think a lot of people would be like, yes. I would be like, yes. You know, he's a 3-4 guy. He's a guy who knows the Big Ten, played in the Big Ten, coached in the Big Ten, interim head coach of the Big Ten with a winning record, 4-3. Okay, in his 7 games as an interim head coach a few years ago at Wisconsin. Defensive coordinator, had some of the best defenses in the Big Ten when he was at Wisconsin. I do hear that name. I think most people would be pretty excited about that. SMU defensive coordinator, Scott Simons. Now, I've had people say like, oh, man, Clemson scored a lot of points in that ACC title game versus SMU. My response is two-part. You're right, and did you watch the game? Because SMU started horribly. Their offense turned the ball over so many times early in that game. And they gave Clemson short field after short field after short field. The second half, Clemson didn't do diddly squat on offense. They made a 56-yard field goal. Kudos to that kicker. By the way, he winked to the sideline right before he made that. That's swagger, ladies and gentlemen. That is swagger. Like, it was a smile, it was a wink, and then 56-yarders through the upright to send us to the college football playoff, which they don't deserve to be in, but I guess they do. And wow, I was impressed by that. But here's what I'll tell you. You watch the second half of SMU versus Clemson, their offense didn't do much when they had to go the full length of the field. And I don't know, they did this thing called halftime adjustments. So if you want to learn a little bit more about Scott Simons, our defensive coordinator at SMU, Simons runs a multiple of the 3-4 defenses and focuses on creating turnovers. In 2023, Simons led the Mustangs to a top 25 defense. All right, and honestly, the team finished top 25 this year as well, if you exclude the ACC championship game and the short fields that Clemson was given. All right, before joining SMU in 2022, Simons coached at Liberty, where he produced a top, it just says top defenses. I should have dived into that a little bit more, but where he produced top defenses. All right, Simons was named the 2022 Dave Campbell's Texas Football 40 Under 40 list. Oh, here's where Matt Rule's going to like him, and was named a nominee for the 2023 Broyles Award. All right, Matt Rule's had 2 defensive coordinators. They've both been named for Broyles Award in the past. So that is, what are the responses right now as far as folks rooting or not rooting for Scott Frost there, Jake?
It's a little bit mixed. There's a lot of people that would love to continue to root for Scott, you know, kind of the always once a Husker, always a Husker type of thing. And then there are those that are very offended by Scott Frost altogether and don't want to cheer for him.
Kind of what I figured. What's the percentage here? Because the 2 polls that I saw and the people who are like, wow, this is higher than I thought it would be for Scott Frost, it was about 50-50. It was like 45 for Frost, 55 not so much, which was closer to 50-50 than they thought. What's your guesstimation on what the split is there, Jake?
Probably about 75-80% pro Scott Frost.
Oh, wow. Okay. I am telling you, it's going to take longer than Solich. What was Solich, 21 years before he came back and was honored at the spring game halftime? Scott Frost is younger, probably a good thing, and it may take 30, 40 years. I don't know. Maybe not. Scott Frost is in his late 40s. And I think when he was done here is like mid 40s or so. I don't know his exact age. I could Google it real quick. Don't need to. You get the point. If it took 40 years, there could be an 85-year-old Scott Frost walking out on that field and the fans will clap for him at some point. I'm predicting it. I am predicting it. It's going to take time. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to take time for Frost to be willing to do it, not just the fans. Go both ways. Topic. It's a topic for a longer show for another day. I'm just curious what the immediate responses are on the text line. All right, let's dive into some of the updates. All right, as most of you probably know, Keona Davis, talented defensive lineman in the portal. That one does hurt a little bit. Just a couple of other former Huskers that are in the portal, running backs, Savion Morrison, A.J. Allen. All right, this was one, and there are some folks that I'm going to mention here that are in Lincoln for visits this week, but I thought this was interesting. Georgia Tech star wide receiver Eric Singleton has entered the portal. And then J.D. Pickell, who does a great job. All right. He quote tweeted and said, if today is Black Friday, this is the TV I'm fighting for in the parking lot, talking about this wide receiver. Okay. Eric Singleton out of Georgia Tech. We need wide receivers. We got a quarterback you want to play for. We got a coordinator you want to play under. Okay. A quarterback you want to play with, a coordinator you want to play for. All right. So that's why I highlighted that. Oh, I just thought this was interesting. Best of luck to Malachi Coleman. But I did not know he had been clocked at almost 23 miles an hour at one point. Somebody just sent that to me, and I feel like that was valid enough for me to share. All right, Philip Simpson. I was asked this yesterday. Is Philip Simpson going to come back? I think towards the end of the show, I said it's expected, it's anticipated. And now, as you probably know, outside linebackers coach, phenomenal recruiter. Philip Simpson is officially back with Nebraska. He tweeted out, no place like Nebraska, hashtag GBR, hashtag FlowBraska is back. All right, Dylan Raiola. So, yes, there was, it finally kind of caught some traction yesterday. I don't mean finally like, oh, why did it take so long? You hear things under the radar and you're like, okay, who's going to be the person that takes this public? Because to me, I was like, well, he's on the team. It's weird to talk about somebody potentially leaving, whether it's Dylan or someone I'm not as familiar with. Like, it's just kind of unusual to me and weird. But I think the national, the national show, the Cover 3 podcast started talking about it. So people started picking up on it. So here's what I heard, and all the rumors have been shut down. Dylan shut it down last night with his Instagram story, posting he's all in. He's all in on Nebraska, all right? So for me, yes, Miami, absolutely. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Miami, okay? Also, I had heard 2 SEC schools, and that's as specific as I'll get. I know the names that I was told by a couple of people. There was some smoke there, okay? Dylan is all in. It's interesting, though, with rumors and things of that nature, sometimes I'm always going to err towards being a little bit later to talk about them. I'm always going to err towards the side of respect. Emma Johnson came on, did an interview with me because he appreciated the way I handled the information that I was given per the source that spoke to me last week. He appreciated that. So, having the trust of I'm a former player. I know what it's like to have your trust betrayed. Okay. So I'm always going to prioritize that. So the Dylan Raiola rumors are over. They're dead in the water as of last night. And I don't know. I don't have a whole lot else to say on that. You got any final thoughts on that before we move on there, Jake?
No, I know just some fans are upset that it even got that far, that he had to go out there and announce that. But that's great. Obviously you talk about your core players. I'm sure he'll be one of them.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
The fact that he had to, that's the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen. So when I'm sitting there, when I'm hearing things for a couple of weeks, you notice I didn't say, if. I said when. When is somebody going to take this out, bring this out into the light? Like, somebody's going to. That's the world we live in. Okay? It just is what it is. I flat out said earlier, there's things about college football that are unacceptable. So to me, it's the way college football is ran, and the culture that's been created in college football. This is the norm. That doesn't mean it's right. Okay. Final thought on Dylan. He was Nebraska's quarterback, obviously, this past season, but number 1 rated true freshman quarterback in the country when it comes to passing wise. He completed 253 of his passes, 66%, for 2,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he had more before Dana Holgorsen took over. He had more interceptions than he did touchdowns. The end of the year with more touchdowns than interceptions due to improved play the last couple of games. All right. Let's see here. Next on the list. This is my final thought on this. There was a picture that was put out of Dylan, all right, Dawson Merritt, and Mosey at a Kansas City Chiefs game. By the way, those are all 3 Huskers. So just connect those dots. All right. And here's a Husker I do want to shout out. You think about guys like John Bullock and, Hutmaker and Robinson and all these guys who've been here a long time. Ramir Johnson has not been talked about enough. Never wavered, just kept his head down. And I want to say thank you to every senior who has not been talked about enough, who has been here the entire time. A guy like Ramir Johnson, 2019 to 2024. All this drama around Emmett and that running back room. Shout out to a guy who's never complained, who just shows up every day, does the best he can with the opportunities that he's been given, got hurt at the end of the year, was able to come back and play. All right, 217 career carries, 940 yards, 6 touchdowns, 47 receptions, 428 yards, 3 TDs. I hope he has a blast up in the Pinstripe Bowl. And when I talked to Emmett, that was the one guy he highlighted. And that's what prompted me to say this. Like, Ramir Johnson needs to be shown a little bit more love before his career is officially over here. All right, a couple of guys that have entered the portal, and here it is. Missouri true freshman Edge Williams. All right, plans to enter the transfer portal. 6'6", 265, will have all 4 years of eligibility remaining. He was ranked as a 5-star, okay, coming out of high school, number 1 edge rusher. And here's, let me see if I can find it real quick. All right. Yeah, it's actually Mitch Sherman. Shout out to Mitch. A massive name for the 2024 recruiting cycle. Talking about Williams. The state of Missouri literally changed laws that made it advantageous for him to sign with Mizzou. And he's headed into the portal at the end of one season. Change in laws, and the portal says, thanks, but no thanks. All right, I wish him the best, though. Love for him to come here. And there is definitely, just so you know, I'm not the first or the 15th person to talk about this, and it's not the first or even the 5th time I've talked about this guy. But where there's smoke, there's fire. Dane Key, Nebraska. Dane Key, former Kentucky wide receiver. If we could get, this is a guy who could honestly enter the NFL draft right now if he wanted to be drafted. He's in the portal. We'll see where he ends up. There is smoke there. I hope it turns into legit, straight up fire. What I mean is I hope he comes to Nebraska if that wasn't clear. All right. And these things kind of intrigue me because, yeah, we have a bunch of players going into the portal, in the portal. So is Boston College. Their quarterback will not be playing in the bowl game. All right, Boston College quarterback Thomas Castaneos has officially entered the transfer portal. All right, Boston College's best wide receiver, Jared Bradley, has also officially entered the portal. The former Texas Tech receiver recorded 1,368 career receiving yards and 12 touchdowns. I'm sorry, yes, in his career. Now, wouldn't it be funny? What if he came here? We need a receiver. What if he came here and then 2 weeks later he's playing against, like maybe he's a roommate with the DB. Maybe he's going against his former roommate. Maybe he hasn't even moved out. He's still got his crap in their place, and they're going against each other in the game. And then, like, the next day, he's moving his stuff out of their place. I know it's all hypothetical, but that could happen. How crazy would that be, Jake?
Yeah, it's a crazy one. I know Bill O'Brien even spoke at the, they did the pre Pinstripe Bowl press conference and was saying it's just crazy that the transfer portal is even open during bowl season. Also, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's asinine. All right, so actually, I'm not going to be able to get to the core players in this segment because I want to call Tom. All right, I don't want to be late calling Mr. Shatel. And then the last segment, I will let you know how to fix college football, or we can talk about the core players. Whatever the people want, they can let us know on the text line. Final thoughts here, though. All right, let's see. Omar Graham, Florida State linebacker. All right, there is dialogue and a visit here in Lincoln. And just to put this to bed, Jamari Butler put this out before the portal ended. His top 3 schools, Florida State, LSU, A&M. How can this happen? Tampering. Well, first of all, tampering never happens. Everybody's angels in college football, ladies and gentlemen, but he's a grad transfer. To clear it up with Jamari, he's a grad transfer. That means he went into the portal before the 9th because grad transfers can do that. So there was no tampering with Jamari. They can go in the portal basically whenever once the season's over. So just so you know. Okay. And the last player I'm going to talk about here, then we're going to hit the break. So he is also taking a visit. Phoenix Jackson, 6'6", 220-pound linebacker. All right, from Fresno State. Now, Rover, weak side linebacker, is probably how he would fit in the 3-3-5 defense here. He's rated the 3rd highest graded linebacker in coverage in the country last year. All right, and let's see here. Sometimes I can't read my own notes. That is right. That is this guy. He was originally committed. I got to double check this because I just have here, I don't have a name next to it. But what I have here, yes, it is this individual. Is Phoenix Jackson was committed to Matt Rule at Baylor. When is this era of the 1,000-year senior going to end? Nothing against Phoenix. He's playing within the rules that have been mandated. How crazy is that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to go to break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Slay the holidays this year with a gift that'll really get them going. One that's built to win, like the new Honda CR-FR Motocrosser. One that's built for fun, like a Honda Mini Moto. Or one for each member of the family, like a Honda CR-F Trail Bike. At Rod's Power Sports, you'll find the motorcycle, ATV, or side-by-side they'll love. During the Honda Gifts That Go sales event, you can slay the streets in style with a Grom Mini Moto, slay the trails with the CR-F 50F, or pile into a Pioneer 1006 Deluxe Crew that can carry 6 elves over the fields and through the woods all year long. This year, don't just give any gift. Give the gift of outdoor adventure with a ride they'll never forget. Don't miss out. Head to Rod's Power Sports in Lincoln, Nebraska during the Honda Gifts That Go sales event. It's your chance to slay the holidays and your gift list. Dealer participation may vary. See dealer for complete program and safety details.
The McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. On Saturday, Asheville beat Southampton 1-0, and then Crystal Palace tied Man City 2-2. On Sunday, Fulham tied Arsenal 1 apiece, and then Ipswich Town fell to Bournemouth 2-1. Liverpool remains at the top of the EPL standings with a record of 11-2-1, while Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City take the next 3 spots. You can catch all these matches and more at the McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln for English Premier League soccer at 8.
General Fire and Safety has been keeping Lincoln businesses and commercial structures safe for more than 50 years. From a simple fire extinguisher to full fire suppression systems, Lincoln has trusted General Fire and Safety to provide top-of-the-line products, installation, and maintenance. If you're starting a new business in a brand new building, call on General Fire and Safety to help you plan a fire safety system that fits the specific needs of your business, employees, and customers. Call General Fire and Safety today at 402-261-0116.
Outside is where winter adventure unfolds. On frozen lakes, icy landscapes, and snow-covered slopes, feeling the cold air rush by as you race downhill. The freedom of gliding with ease and the warmth of being together. From epic sled rides to the fun of ice fishing, it's all right here beneath Nebraska skies. Start your winter adventure at yournebraskaparks.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Associations and this station.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The Huskers are headed to the Pinstripe Bowl. Cheer on the Huskers in New York City on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour offered by the Nebraska Alumni Association. Your bowl package includes a 2-night hotel stay, round-trip transportation on game day, pregame events, and more. Spots are limited, so book your spot now on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour with the Nebraska Alumni Association. Go to HuskerFanTravel.com or call 888-831-0858. That's 888-831-0858 or HuskerFanTravel.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
On the farm from dawn till dusk, hardworking hands tend to the land, equipment, and the animals. But your hard work deserves a little relaxation too. Visit the Nebraska Ag Expo, December 10th through the 12th at Sandhills Global Event Center in Lincoln. See all the latest ag innovations in livestock and equipment, precision ag, drone, and AI tech, crop inputs, grain storage, and more. Take a break from the daily grind and recharge at the Nebraska Ag Expo. You deserve it. Sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
This is Trooper Keith Bell of the Nebraska State Patrol. The holiday season is here, and Nebraskans will be traveling near and far. This time of year is wonderful for spending time with family, but it takes safe roadways to make sure every seat is filled at the family table. As you gather during the holidays, always make sure to have a sober driver if your celebrations involve alcohol. Together, let's make the holiday season bright for families across Nebraska. Thank you and drive safely.
This message presented by the Nebraska State Patrol, the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
League One Volleyball is coming to Omaha this January. Featuring Olympic medalist Jordan Larson and Justine Wong-Arantes, Love Omaha Volleyball is Omaha's newest pro team. The inaugural season will showcase some of the world's best volleyball players, from medalists to NCAA champions and international superstars. With the action kicking off on January 24th at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Visit LOVB.com for more information and to purchase tickets. Volleyball is the next major league.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com. When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Bryant at 402-467-1111 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-467-1111.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Segment 2 of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7. The Ticket is sponsored by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. 11th and Cornhusker open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burnt end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full, delicious slab of ribs, a half-smoked chicken, and much, much more. Plus, incredible sides. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue by Single Barrel, located, ladies and gentlemen, at 11th and Cornhusker. Real quick, we did have a prize winner call in. So we did have a winner. We will bring them on air next time. We did have another older gentleman we got people who listen and watch the show from all over the country. Call in from Orlando. Said he'd like to see more RPO. All right. And so I will relay that message on to Dana Holgerson. He'd like to see more RPO. Real quick, let me know when you get a chance there, Jake, the response as far as folks rooting for Frost. All right. And this last segment, all right, we're going to talk about fixing the college football playoff, and I will discuss the core players returning to Nebraska because, honestly, I may need a full 20 to 25 minutes, and I don't want to cut that short on Thursday or Friday or whenever it works based on the never-ending landscape that is Nebraska football sports news. All right, now I want to bring on my special guest for today. This man's been the World Herald's leading sports columnist since he joined the World Herald in 1991. He's covered just about any and everything that you can imagine. Mr. Tom Shatel, how you doing, my friend?
Looks like he dropped off there for a second. Rico's reaching back out to him.
All right,
but he'll be joining in a second.
No, go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead. Reach back out to him, Jake. So, what are some of the responses? And then we'll put an end to the who's rooting for Scott Frost thing. All right. So, what are some of the responses as far as Frost? And then Tom has joined us back on the line. What do you got there, real quick, Jake?
Again, I think a lot of it's just kind of positive, maybe kind of he's always a Husker type of thing. And then there's other, like what Blanket said, I'm rooting for Frost, but there's no reason to bring him back unless it's a single member of the great teams he played on. He did nothing as a coach at Nebraska as an individual player that warrants special recognition. So they're those that hold these things against him.
Yeah, I'm still of the opinion he'll be back one day. He'll be honored like Frank Solich. It may just take some time. All right, now I'm joined by our special guest, Mr. Tom Shatel. How you doing, my friend?
How are you, sir?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm excited. First time I've ever had the pleasure to interview you. So I'll go ahead and ask you. You actually just wrote, after watching Scott Frost's introductory press conference there at UCF, you wrote an article about it, kind of talking about, and obviously you can elaborate more, basically Frost was probably a little bit conflicted between feeling obligated to come home versus being happy there in UCF. But go ahead. What are your thoughts on Frost, UCF, and his introductory press conference?
Well, I'm very happy for him. Obviously didn't work out here. It's 20/20 hindsight, but I've been great at that my whole career. So why stop now? I really think that, as I recall, doing all the interviews when he came to Nebraska 7 years ago, 2017, the end of that season, he kept talking about how much he loved Orlando and school and coaching those players, and it didn't sound like a guy, a normal coach who was changing jobs, especially to come home. And I remember the press conference was not like a celebration. It was for a lot of people, the people in the audience, but for the guy on the stage, it wasn't quite. It just felt like he felt like he had to do it. Maybe he didn't necessarily want to do it. He could have traded. There's no way he could have turned that down. And the athletic director, Bill Moose, had to offer to him. Had to. But looking back, he wasn't ready. He didn't bring Nebraska is a big, big job. And the staff he brought wasn't ready. You probably, for a guy who had 2 years of head coaching experience, maybe he could have surrounded himself with some older assistants or coordinators who'd kind of been through the Big Ten. See, I don't think Scott really understood what the Big Ten was. I know I didn't when I got here. And so I just think there were a lot of lessons to learn. They get off on the wrong foot with the weather. Martinez gets hurt. They lose close games. Scott talks about how he's, they better get us now, and this game's winnable. And it's just one thing after another, and a lot of close games. And then COVID happens. Adam, I just feel like it was kind of star-crossed. And I felt like just watching him at UCF, I think the irony is he's one of the all-time Huskers, and he grew up in Nebraska, and he'll be a Husker fan for life. But irony maybe is that he's a better fit at UCF.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what he does down there. Obviously, they're excited to have him back. I'm sure he's excited to be back down there as well. So kind of transitioning to a little bit more Husker-specific stuff. Nebraska is seen as a major player by other schools, players, and agents as far as being a spot to come because of the NIL that we can offer. We have legit NIL that we can potentially offer here to prospective players. What are your thoughts on how important it is, especially with some of the guys we've had enter the transfer portal on our end, and assuming none of them come back, because some might. Okay, we've already seen Emmett come back. But let's say, how important do you think it is that we nail certain positions, whether it be wide receiver, defensive line, etc., when it comes to bringing in guys via the portal?
Yeah, Adam, you can certainly speak to this more than I can as a former player, but I just I'm amazed, and maybe I shouldn't be amazed. I'm probably naive, but at how much money is important to these guys, and how much they're doing everything for money, and not necessarily playing time or the program or the coach. It's kind of eye-opening for me in a way. Maybe I'm naive on that, but as far as Nebraska goes, they need to get that offense. I think across the board they need more speed and more sort of the playmakers. We used to, back in the day, Barry Switzer used to call them difference makers. I got more difference makers than Tom, so we're going to win. And now they call them dudes. Well, Nebraska needs more dudes. And defense, offense. I like the way the offensive line played after Holgerson got here. I'm not so. And I think there's probably a correlation there. I like the way offense played, but the receivers they have to improve the receiving room. The running backs are good if they can add to it. More power to them. I think, but I just think Daniel Holgerson has a very specific idea what he wants, and I think he's going to go. I think once the portal continues to open and he's able to go look at. I mean, it's very fascinating to I think now that the portal is really in full gear, and Holgerson's an assistant, the coordinator, that he can just focus on the one thing, not being a head coach. That I think having Holgerson and RAIOLA together as recruiters for offensive skill, the skilled people, especially receivers, is ought to be really good for Nebraska. So, but defensively, we don't know who the coordinator is going to be, and I think that the sooner maybe but I guess Matt Rule is kind of defensive core. He's a defense guy, and he knows what he wants on defense. So in terms of getting the linebackers, it's just it sure seems like the pass rush needs to get built back up. For next year, that's going to be a priority too. So I guess the answer to the question is everywhere.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It's interesting because you make a lot of good points, but when you talk about money playing such a big factor, Nick Saban has come out and said he was going to come back and coach, but when he was doing some meetings with players as far as next year, the first thing they said is, how much are you going to pay me? How much are you going to pay me? And it was so different to what he was used to, the way he'd built Alabama. He's like, I can't do this the way that's worked for me for years anymore. And he's now on ESPN and doing a great job there. And I'm actually curious, because you're a guy who has seen and covered a lot of things, and you've got as much experience as anybody. And so you, Big 8, Big 12, Big 10, now the Big 18, even though we're still called the Big 10, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, somebody said, hey, this is what college football is going to look like. Like Oregon's going to win the Big 10 championship. The Pac-10 is not going to be around anymore. There's going to be this thing called NIL, and then you can enter this thing called the portal where you can transfer 2 times a year for 5 years. So basically 10 times in your career. Like, are you surprised? Could you have ever envisioned, and I'm not even knocking it, there's certain things I don't like about college football, but as a whole, I still love the game. Could you have ever envisioned this like 10, 25 years ago even?
No, not even 10 or 5. My first question would have been, wow, did the NCAA, did they go out of business? Because how could they have let all this happen? And they did. They just sat back and watched. They basically were out of business. They weren't minding the store. And there had to be, rail guards, whatever they call them, rules to this stuff. And there weren't. When you could transfer, how many times would you be immediately eligible? And they felt like they were going to lose everything, every one of these cases in court. So they didn't even try. It's in the conference realignment is, somebody I really trust in college athletics told me about when Nebraska went to the Big Ten. They said, this is going to eventually, it's just going to get worse and worse because everybody's chasing money. Then it's going to blow up. It's going to explode, and we're going to go back to the way it was. I can't wait for that. I haven't seen it yet, but it's madness. Look, I made no secret. I don't like the Big Ten or how big it is, or it's not a conference. It's a corporation, and I don't like USC in this league. I think that there should be a West Coast league. There should be a Pac-12. There should be a Big 8 and a Big 10. There should be an SEC and an ACC, and all the rest. And I don't know how we get back to it. I don't think we're done. Although everything I've heard about Florida State and Clemson is they're not wanted in the Big 10 or SEC. They may have to stay where they are, which could be awkward. But so maybe they're. I think North Carolina is going to be somebody that the Big 10 and SEC want.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it was hard enough for me to go to from the Big 12 to the Big 10. I don't. Just watching this stuff is wild. It's just, and then the playoff. We're arguing about the playoff, just like we used to argue about the AP and the UPI poll. So, but I can't wait for the playoffs. How about you?
I'm actually very excited. The next segment I'm going to do, I'm going to make some tweaks. I'm going to give my thoughts on how it could potentially be improved. You know what's crazy though? The poor old Pac-10 and Pac-12. Oregon goes and wins the Big Ten. Arizona State, also a former Pac-12 school, as you know, goes and wins the Big 12. It's just craziness. And you make a great point. The Big Ten is a corporation. Our commissioner has a background in television deals. That's why he's where he's at. So you make a phenomenal point. I really enjoyed you coming on today, Tom. Thank you for your time.
Hey, I appreciate you having me, sir. Thanks.
All right, have a great day. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Experience the Landmark difference with the next level of dealer support. Landmark, your local John Deere dealer, continually works to have parts on hand the first time you walk in the door. Our internal route system means we can get the parts to you typically same or next day to keep you up and running. At Landmark, we understand time is money. Get more uptime with our after-hours parts and service support on the phone or in the field. Stop by your local Landmark today to experience the Landmark difference.
An hour ago, you didn't need a plumber. Now you're in a panic. When life throws you a surprise with a clogged drain, plugged or leaky toilet, broken pipe, leaky faucet or water heater, or a bathroom or kitchen plumbing upgrade, whatever, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111. Keep that number handy, 467-1111. Or go to BryantLincoln.com. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring a friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, this deal ends soon.
See Home Club for details.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
At Anderson Ford, we offer a 5-day return or exchange policy so you can make sure the vehicle you choose is the best vehicle for you. No pressure. Right now, lease a 2024 Ford F-150 for $395 per month. Experience better at Anderson Ford.
Stock number 1003769, $395 per month lease for 36 months with proof credit, 7,500 miles per year, $5,250 to assigning, no security deposit required. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 11/30/24. See delivery details.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
The Huskers are headed to the Pinstripe Bowl. Cheer on the Huskers in New York City on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour offered by the Nebraska Alumni Association. Your bowl package includes a 2-night hotel stay, round-trip transportation on game day, pregame events, and more. Spots are limited, so book your spot now on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour with the Nebraska Alumni Association. Go to huskerfantravel.com or call 888-831-0858. That's 888-831-0858 or huskerfantravel.com. Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. We have called another audible. Basically, I have half a Thursday show already done. Nebraska's core players, we're going to talk about that, also along with any breaking news. Also, I frankly don't have time to go through the 5 simple ways that I would fix the college football playoff and then what that bracket would look like. So what I've got is the current bracket. I'm going to give my predictions for how the current bracket will play out, and then I will attempt to fix the college football playoff and how that bracket will play out on Thursday. So let's start. All right, right off the top, Notre Dame, Indiana. It's on Friday night. Feels like a high school game, so to speak. In-state rivalry, if you want to call it that. Big brother, little brother. Big brand versus the team that was 3-9 a year ago. Indiana makes this game very, very interesting. I'm going with Notre Dame, though. Moving on to round 2. I'm literally filling out the bracket if you can watch me on TV or YouTube as we speak. All right, Penn State, SMU. I think Penn State falls behind early, much like they did versus Clemson. This is going to be nasty weather, whiteout game at night. I think they make a late run, but I don't think they quite get it done. Penn State beats SMU. Ohio State, Tennessee, the most anticipated first-round matchup of the entire first round. Here's the deal, and I thought that this was interesting. All right, Kirk Herbstreit said something. Still can't believe Kirk Herbstreit, whose son committed to Michigan yesterday, so he's getting all sorts of lovely messages coming his way from Buckeye fans. Also took a swipe at Buckeye fans booing when they go 3-0 in the college football playoffs. He said this immediately after it was announced that Ohio State was going to host Tennessee. Basically said Ohio State should have played a road game so fans don't boo their own team when they go 3-0. And I don't think he meant it to be a jab quite like it comes across. All right, a little bit of context there. But, yeah, I am going to go with Ohio State because they showed 2 years ago when they lose to Michigan, they come out with piss and vinegar. They are one successful fake punt away from beating Georgia, and they curb stomped TCU for the national championship. I got Ohio State. Oh, fun fact here. The highest scoring first half in Big Ten title history took place last Saturday. Oregon had 31. Penn State had 24 at halftime. The second highest scoring, don't Google it, Husker fans, 2012. All right. Meanwhile, the SEC was 6-3 at halftime, a baseball score. I digress. Let's get back to the bracket. Ohio State over Tennessee. Texas and Clemson. Something tells me Clemson is going to make this more interesting than they should, even though they shouldn't be in this thing to begin with. But I am going to take Texas, especially at home. So our second round matchups, Oregon, Ohio State. What? Why are they playing Ohio State in the second round? Oregon's the best team. Oregon's the most well-rounded team. They're the most consistent team. I love Dan Lanning. I just don't think anybody's going to go undefeated. And the question is, where are they going to stumble? I think they're going to stumble against the most motivated team in this playoff, and that is Ohio State, even though I still think Oregon's better. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. I've got Ohio State pulling the upset over Oregon. The Ducks are going to stumble, and I actually hope I'm wrong. I love Dan Lanning. I love Dan Lanning. They got the most brutal road to the championship, and all he said is, it's supposed to be hard. How do you not love that guy? Arizona State and Texas, I love Cam Scatteraboo. This may be interesting or it may be a blowout. Either way, Texas is going to win, whether it's close or whether it's not. Texas to the Final Four. Notre Dame and Georgia. All right, so here's what you got to know. Carson Beck seems to have torn his UCL. You're talking to a guy who tore his UCL. My son tore his UCL. If it is torn, he is out for the playoffs, which seems likely. The backup quarterback came in and played well. But when the margins are this thin and Georgia is this inconsistent all year long as they've been, I'm going to go with Notre Dame. If they had Carson Beck at Georgia, I would have gone with Georgia. I think that is the difference maker, although Carson Beck led the nation in turnovers at one point, but his ceiling as a quarterback, they were going to come and go as he went, is just higher than his backup at this point, although his backup came in and played well versus Texas for a couple of quarters. Penn State, Boise makes this closer than people want to think. But if you can slow down Ashton Genty, which Oregon couldn't run on Penn State, they threw the ball very well. Boise's not going to beat them through the air. I got Penn State. Our Final Four matchups: Notre Dame, Penn State, Ohio State, Texas. All right, Ohio State and Texas. I tell you what, this is a tough one. The four most talented rosters in America have not changed since the beginning of the season. The five most, okay? I said before the season on paper, the best teams were Oregon, in no particular order, were Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, Texas. And the most talented was Alabama, but they're a lot younger. Okay? So that has not changed. So you got Ohio State and Texas, two of the top, in my opinion, three best rosters. I think Ohio State has the motivation. I think they've shown they can do it. Texas only played two ranked teams all year, and they lost. They were Georgia, but that's it. Ohio State is motivated. They've got talent, and the difference with their roster is they've got experience. I got Ohio State over Texas. Take that, SEC. Notre Dame, Penn State. I think Penn State's a good team, but not great. I don't think Notre Dame's great. Northern Illinois. And I could literally flip a coin. So as I sit here and I put a full 10 seconds worth of thought into this particular matchup, I'm going to go with Notre Dame because they remind me of Ohio State. They have been full of piss and vinegar ever since that Northern Illinois game, and they have played really, really well. All right, championship, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Who would you take in the national championship, Jake?
Oh, boy, I think I'd probably lean toward Ohio State there. But it's hard to pick Ryan Day as the champion.
All I know is it's two cold weather teams. So what happens when them Southern Bells got to come up north? I think Ohio State is going to win it. If their quarterback plays awful, I'm going to blame it all on him, and I'm not wrong with this pick, but I'm going to go with Ohio State. All right, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the ball.
Raising little ones is a big job, and you do your best to give them a good start every day. That means making sure they're well cared for while you're apart. You work hard, but it's not always easy to make ends meet. There may be help. Find out if you qualify for Nebraska's Child Care Tax Credit for working parents. You could be eligible for a credit of up to $2,000 per child on your next tax return. Learn more at nebraskachildcaretaxcredit.org. Brought to you by First 5 Nebraska and Nebraska Children and Families Foundation and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard, increase security, and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
With the Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax